All right, and we're recording, man.
What's up, brother?
Dude, what is up? I got so many glasses up here. I put them in the space to bring them back down, and then I guess sometimes I don't bring them back down. Walk right past them. Dude, what's going on, man? Tell me about your life.
You know.
I got so many messages from you this week.
Yeah, I just felt like blowing up your inbox. I thought it might be kind of fun for both of us.
It is. I love getting texts from my guys. I love it. I love updates. I love you getting I used to be actually anti communicating.
Yeah.
In between these in between sessions. Or at least or at minimum agnostic, just be like or ambivalent rather. Because I was like, I want to save it for the week. I want you to deal with your own but it's like, I guess the separation is if you're going to text me with your problems, those are also good because in the beginning, because we can start practicing, you dealing with your own shit, because that's what this is all about. It's not training people to be like, all right, once a week I'm going to meet with some guy and we're going to solve all of our problems, or actually, and he's going to solve my problems for me mentally. It's going to be, it's more like in the beginning, text me with your problems, and then I'll be like, how would you deal with these if you were me? And it's that, and then you laugh, but it's actually really effective because because then it's like, oh well, you would probably do that. Everyone has this experience when they go ask for help. It's one of two things. It's one of like, will you just reaffirm what I'm already thinking? Please, I'm going to be doing this. I would like you to affirm or reaffirm that this is the choice that I want to be making. And then the second is, it's like, okay, you get the advice, and then you're like, yeah, but I don't want to do that. It's like, you already know, bitch. You already know what you want to do. So much. That's what I mean. When we already know what we really want. And then since we're such fantastic used car salesmen, at least I am, with my own emotional desires, it's like, this is all right. Well, this is why you got to do this, and this is why you got to do that, or this is why you can't do this, and this is why you can't have that, and this is why you got to do it this other way. And then we've all thought something in our minds a million times, and then talk about it with someone else and be like, well, why don't you just do this?
Yep.
Yeah. That is a really easy, simple, straightforward thing to do. But for some reason, I'm resisting that entirely. Right? And it's like, I think we've all had that experience. I certainly have. Hold on, this hair is in my face, and it's I need a fucking headband or something, but it's not long enough. Here, I'm just going to do this. See if nope, that didn't help at all.
Nope. It almost looked like it was going to stay.
Yeah, it's not. It's not quite long enough where I can do a ponytail thing,
which I think is probably best for everyone involved. Actually,
I agree, because other you keep talking, man, you're gonna get this.
Hold on, I've seen the headband,
fucking headband, which I might actually do because it's. There we go. I warned you. Now you get this.
What's the wad today, dude?
Let's see. It's a pulling imam. Do. We got chin ups, crab reach, prone reverse flies, dumbbell snatch, and plank twists.
Nice.
And we've got five rounds of those 6 movements. That'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this off because I can't do it. It's it's more comfortable, but I can't look at myself. Actually, if I had just worn this for 2 hours before we met, then it would just stay back. It's good to know.
Now we know. We are learning.
Now I know. All right, man. All right. Yeah. So I love the messages. I love getting messages, especially when we're appreciating or recognizing kind of the awesome things in our life, or we encounter some sort of strife or some sort of thing that's not really vibrating with us in ways that we want to, or vibing with us in ways that we want to. And then we're like, this is how I'm feeling. This is the perspective even though if I'm not feeling like thinking this particular way, this is the perspective I want to be having.
Yeah.
All great stuff. Very
Yeah,
rarely do I get guys that message me, Kellen, one of my other guys who you've seen, he'll message me every once in a while and be like a whiny bitch about something. And then literally the next message is like, never mind. or I'll message them something very terse and they'd be like, God damn it. Mm. So, I love this thing.
yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I love this thing. I have this. It's kind of like what's it called? The electrolyte stuff.
Oh, is it the Element?
That Rogan talks about all the time. It's like life something or other. I don't know, Hydrolife or some shit. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep. Fuck. That's the one I used to use. I switched.
But it has sugar in it. So I was like,
Yep.
I'm not doing that. So this one just doesn't have any sugar whatsoever. And then it has just all the electrolytes my active lifestyle requires, along with several other vitamins and minerals.
Yeah, that's what I've got in my mason jar here is my electrolyte powder.
Mhm.
I can't be found, like I've reached a point of hipsterdom in my life. I can't be found drinking out of not a mason jar. It's just
Speaking of mason jars, I've made my own pate
oh no
a couple
shit.
days ago, and I had my ex-girlfriend had bought a bunch of mason jars and then just left them. And I always bust her chops. I'm like, we're never going to use these for anything. And she's like, yeah, we'll pickle stuff. It'll be awesome. And then we did like once, and then we never used the mason jars again. And which one is? But I had them, and I was like, this is perfect. And I made it was chicken pate, super easy, and it's delicious. It's so easy and it's delicious. It was literally like take the livers, simmer them with water and herbs, put them in a food processor, add butter and cream, some more salt, pepper, and then some spices, and then you're done. And then just put it in a mason jar, put it in the refrigerator. It's
So
fucking.
when you said X, you weren't referencing Eve just now, were you?
No, I was. Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to make it about me, or I didn't. We actually broke up a couple weeks ago, but I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't mention it on purpose because this isn't about me.
Yeah, but I still want to know how you're doing. What that's about.
Dude, yeah. I mean, it was the chillest breakup that one could ever ask for. It's like if someone's going to break up and go through something like a breakup, it was the best a breakup could possibly be. Obviously, it was sad.
Yeah.
Obviously, like it doesn't feel good is not how I would describe how it feels to break up with someone, right?
Yeah.
But it was so chill. We're on fantastic terms. She's awesome. We're awesome. We still love and care about each other very, very much. We're just not meant to be romantically together, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally. That's how I feel about Afton still
Exactly.
to this day. He's like one of my best friends on this planet, but just not
like
not for that.
I'll be yeah, and she moved like 5 doors away.
So are you guys splitting time with Xiao Xiao at all, or is she hers?
No, for me, the cleanest way for me to do a breakup is to be like complete clean break. So I'll watch Xiao Xiao if she's going on like a trip or something like that.
Yeah.
For like a week or something. But like it's way easier for me to not split time with the dog.
Oh,
not to mention, Xiao Xiao has like this bond with her mom.
Yeah.
And as soon as her mom leaves, like Xiao Xiao doesn't want to do anything except
I remember you
why
telling me about
howl at the moon while her mom is gone. It's adorable. She'll just, yeah, she got into this habit where if her mom was gone, we have a little doggy door out onto the patio. She'll go out on the, or the balcony. She'll go out onto the balcony and just stare at the sky.
Contemplate the meaning of life.
And then, and then just start howling and then come back inside, look around, like, I guess mom's not back yet. And then go back outside, stare, and then howl to let everyone know how sad she is. And she'll just walk around with her tail between her legs.
Yep, I'll show you really quick. Hattie is in the cone. She got surgery on Thursday. So she is still recovering, but she was obviously stoned out of her fucking mind Thursday, the whole night. And for, I would say, like 2 or 3 hours straight, there was just this kind of like, I had a Japanese lesson, and I'm like, trying to talk to my teacher, and she's like, is someone singing in the background? I'm like, yeah, my dog's singing the song of her people. She's very upset with me currently. But
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
Well,
exactly how Xiao Xiao is. Yeah, and she won't want to hang out with me or do anything. So it's like, just stay with your mom.
Yep.
I get it. I totally get it.
I would say I'm sad for you, but I am not.
Yeah, don't be sad. It's good news. All breakups are good news.
Yeah, I remember that was the first time, and this was pretty early on, because I think Afton and I broke up like 2 months into you and I doing this thing. And I remember telling you about it, and all you sent back to me initially was congratulations. And I was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Where's my pity party? And, but I think back on that moment all the time, and it was the perfect thing to say. Like, because that's all it is. Like, two people who are not supposed to be together, them separating is the best thing that could ever happen for both of them.
Yeah, and it's not to say that there's not time for like grieving and being sad when a relationship ends. That's totally appropriate, and I would say not doing that's actually not very healthy.
Yeah.
But the perspective on a relationship is so focused on the ending of something, but it's really the start of something way better.
Yeah,
because you're no further away from, because why are people sad? Oh, well, you're alone, right? Well, that's not true, but you're going to be alone and you're no longer in a relationship, which means you're alone. But it's like, but if it's a relationship that I don't want to be in, I'm further away from being in a relationship that I want to be in if I'm currently in a relationship that I don't want to be in.
Yeah.
So being single is actually closer to being in having what I want. So the logic just never made sense to me of people being sad for breakups. Like, it's cool to feel bad for someone and be like, yep, that's like an understanding, like, hey, it's tough, and like you formed a connection with someone, and it's definitely a death of sorts. But it's cycles, man. And so the death of this thing is the birth and the beginning of some other cool adventure that I'm about to go on. And I've got no doubt on that. I'm not fucking 82 and gross. It's like, I'll be fine. I'll be absolutely fine out there. Like, I'm not worried. Men have a little bit of an advantage in this. Like, women have the advantage in their mid and late 20s. It's like they're crushing it, and it's like swatting dicks away. Like, God, from like the whole age spectrum is like everybody it's like younger guys want them, fucking older guys want oh my God, Jesus. And it might have started way earlier than that, but it peaks around that time. It's just like, God, it's just fucking relax. And then for men, I think we kind of peak a bit later. So we have we get to mature, we get to grow up, we chill the fuck out. Our thirst levels kind of chill. You'll know this. I don't know what your thirst levels are like now, but like we've all experienced going through puberty, and it's like when I'm 16, I like my brain was clouded with cum. It just was clouded with just like it's just the whole body was just pent up and needed to be released
Yeah,
all the time. And
it's funny. I'm like just now getting that. Because I was on SSRIs all the way through puberty into my early 20s.
yeah,
So
so
I just like never had that.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like at the most inopportune times, I'll be like
That's how it
sitting in
happens.
traffic or something.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh
Mhm.
God, fuck, shit.
Tom Segura has a great bit on this. And he's like, I travel a lot for comedy, and I was at a comedy show and talking about horniness. And this girl comes up to me after a show, and she's like, I'm horny all the time, just like a guy is. And he's like, no, you're not. And then goes into an entire bit about I'm not going to redo his bit.
Yeah.
Showing examples and anecdotes that are absurd, that only a man would do and only men would do, as an example of how there's no way that's true. But as I've gotten a bit older, 37, obviously, I'm still, I still get horny, obviously, but it is like so much chiller.
Yeah.
It's so much more relaxed.
Did you just have a birthday?
Yeah, I just turned 37 on September 6th.
Oh, happy late birthday, sir.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, 37. I'm officially like a grown up now. Like you say 37, you're like, all right, you're basically 40.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't feel like a grown up yet, and I don't plan on that. Yeah.
I don't feel like a grown up. It's like I don't feel like grown up. I don't know if I want to feel like grown up.
Yeah, no, plus one on that for sure.
I think the current like definitions of what makes a grown up are just kind of lame to me. It's like you work a job you hate to pay an overpriced mortgage in a suburb that you don't like, that you settled for. It's like all of that just sounds like shit to me. You like complain about the cost of the heating bill. It's like, I'm good. You have like your, there's a very, very old bit on SNL with Will Ferrell, and he just, his family is just giving him shit, and they don't respect his authority at all. And he's in a failed attempt to like regain the high ground of authority. It's like, I drive a Dodge Stratus. And that's what like adulting like feels like to me. But then there's the other side of it, which is like responsibility, owning your shit, being like financially independent for your own for your own stuff, not relying on others. That all I can get behind.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's definitely and in that vein, very much feel like an adult. Dude, it's so nice going through the breakup and being like, all right, I've got this lease. When the lease is over, I'll go find another place. I can move wherever I want. I can go wherever I want. Pretty much the entire world is open to me as far as being able to afford a place to live. So it's just, where do I want to go? And what do I want to do?
You'll stay at Influx probably?
There is no place that I would go. I can literally pack up tomorrow and go work from fucking Timbuktu as long as I'm on during those core hours. Yeah. So it's like no one cares. So that's a no-brainer, and they pay me well. So, and I like the work. So until those things change, which all things change, right? Nothing is permanent, but until they do, I'm not going anywhere, man. I love it there. Ah. So, sir, let's go through your week.
Yep.
You did mention a few things.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we can
here.
start. Do you want to start with routine or start with the things that I had reached out to you about?
Let's see. Let's start with the things that.
Yeah, I
reached out to
remember
me
them pretty
about.
well.
Oh, I don't. So I'm looking at. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. You're selling your house.
Yeah, well, at some point in the immediate future, but at least the decision was come to. It's like, yeah, this is the thing that makes
The
sense.
decision was made, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, I talked to my folks about it, and there's some things I want to take care of here as far as like selling it so that it's in proper condition for the next people who want to buy it. I want to act like I'm not in a rush to get out. Like I want to find a place and a situation that feels really, really good for me. And so I just started doing some research. Like I have a pretty good idea of what that looks like for me. And I'm just putting it out there, looking for the place that I want to be in. I know it's going to show up.
You're talking like an apartment, or are you talking about physical location,
Both.
like a city?
Yeah, I definitely want to be like in a metropolitan area. I want to not be around 55-year-olds anymf
Yeah, when you said you bought your house in Broomfield,
yeah,
I was like, but you're not like a 45-year-old dad with a family. Like
yeah.
That's why you moved to Broomfield. It's like,
yeah.
It's not like Denver has gotten crazy.
Yep.
It's like you can buy a house in Watch Park. You just need $2 million.
Yeah.
And so, so yeah, if you need the space, like Broomfield's the way to go. Nothing wrong with Broomfield. I'm not shitting on Broomfield.
No, not at all.
I'm just like, you're a 26-year-old guy.
Yeah.
And it's like,
living alone. I'm super glad I did this because I learned a lot about what that looks like. I learned a lot about what you were just talking about, right? Like, this is what adulting looks like. This is what the definition of grown up is societally. And I thought I was buying into that. And like, that's the secret. And I'm glad I figured that out for myself. That's not
well. Let's actually go into your like your true motivations why you really bought the house, and now you're selling it, right? And you're like, oh, okay, well, yeah. So let's go into those motivations.
Yeah. I mean, back then it was like, that was first time I had gotten really into like the whole FI thing. I'm like, oh, that's what you do if you want to be financially independent someday and retire early. You buy a house that you eventually pay off. And that's fine and dandy. That can be true if you choose it to be. But the bigger thing was like, I want to have this signal, this status signal of, yeah, I've got my shit together. People keep telling me I'm so mature for my age. You want to know how mature I am? I'm going to buy a house. And I'm going to have a house and I'm going to take care of the yard. I'm going to do all these things. And yeah, it just doesn't resonate for me anymore. It never really did. It was like, just like,
why?
Yeah, we talked about climbing the quote unquote wrong mountain, right? That's come up, I think, the last 2 times you and I have talked, which wrong is definitely not the word I would choose for that, right? Because it's always a learning opportunity, but it's like, I'm slogging up this mountain. It's like, yeah, I moved in, putting stuff together. And then like 2 or 3 days in, it's like, oh yeah, nope, everything's the same. Still where I was.
What do you mean?
Like the house doesn't change, doesn't solve anything.
Right? Oh, you didn't get your "I'm a full-grown, like I'm a man" letter in the email, or like in the mail?
No,
you didn't get the membership card of like,
no,
I'm officially a man now.
That came when my whole house flooded, and I realized I'm over this fucking shit.
Dude, home ownership is very fun, man.
And dude, I'm super glad. Like I said, super glad I did it. It was actually because you and I've talked about the idea of selling the house a few times over the last few months. It's more like an ethereal idea, and it was actually Shelby kind of helped push me over the line with it, and because that woman's a fucking rock star, and she kind of helped me push me over the line on Thursday. And I called my parents right after that call, and I'm like, hey, here's what I'm feeling. And they're like, yeah, it makes sense. And what really helped me, because I called my mom, talked to her about it, and then we hang up, and I get this super long text from my dad. And like in the past, anytime I get one of these super long essays from my dad, and after a conversation like that, like they're not usually feel good ones, historically. And this one was like, hey, I heard enough of what you and your mom were talking about to know this is absolutely the right decision for you. You have our full support. Like, we'll talk about the money thing. We'll talk about what we want to do with it. And because they helped me with the down payment, right? And they're like, well, you would never just ask us for X number of dollars to go travel the world or do whatever it is you want to do. So like, let's figure out what we're going to do with that money. It's yours to keep, but in a way that makes sense later in life. And just to get their stamp of approval on it was super cool. So yeah, started like perusing apartments.com, and like I have a picture in my mind of the place I want to live. And I'm getting really excited just like seeing what's out there. It feels really good.
So just to retrace back.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna buy a house because it was gonna make me make me something.
Yep.
That I wanted.
Yep.
Right. So I was going to go get this thing outside of myself that was gonna go make me what I wanted to be inside, aka a quote unquote real man.
Yep.
So far, so good.
Yep.
Get the thing.
Yep.
Oh, it's not this thing outside of myself that makes me a real man. Oh, okay. Few years later, has it been 3 years since you had the house?
Oh, dude, it's only been a year.
1 year? Oh man, oof. Yeah, been a year with the house. Going and getting that thing doesn't make me a real man. Okay, now what do I want?
Yep.
Accurate so far?
Yep.
So yeah, this is a great one for the bank, right? For the memory bank. I made the same mistake. I was 22. Yep. I also used other people's money to buy the house, namely my fiance's, because she was rich, which is sweet. I was like, yeah, let's get this house. Oh, that's not what does it. Oops.
Yeah, it's funny. My definition of like my personal definition of what a man is, or like what would make me a quote unquote real man, is not giving a flying fuck and living where I want to live. Like,
yeah, it's doing the capital W wants, right?
Yeah.
So I say that and I make that distinction because it's so easy, especially for anybody listening who isn't familiar with this stuff. It's like you hear want and it's like, oh, okay, it's fucking.
I want a Lambo.
Yeah, exactly. It's coke and strippers or whatever, right? And it's like that's not what I'm talking about. By all means, go experiment that route and like have fun. But it's the capital W wants.
Yeah.
Meaning like sifting through all of the bullshit, all of the used car salesman talk, all of the external forces that are telling me what I want and what's the ideal, and getting down to what my conscience is really telling me that I really want to be doing.
Yeah, it was funny. Both my parents and Shelby were like, what do you want? Like, what do you picture your life looking like? And as soon as they asked me that question, it's just like laundry list.
Exactly.
Once exactly what you said, right? Like once that used car salesman thing is gone, I'm like, oh, here's why I have to stay in my house. Here's why I must keep doing this.
For this money reason or this other bullshitty reason, blah, blah, blah.
Yep. And just know that to be true. So yeah.
Well, it might be true. It just doesn't matter because it's not what I want.
That's true.
It doesn't. I lose money on the house. Okay. So this isn't what I don't want to fucking be here. Yeah. What? So I just grind it out for 30 years? No, no fucking way. Yeah. It's like I was in an interview. I was interviewing someone a candidate, and we were talking about kind of goals and what success meant for them, and or what like a successful company meant for them. They were like, if I'm going to be on death marches every week, and then even if the company like is a financial success and IPOs in 10 years or whatever the average is for IPOing, and I make $1 million, was the 10 years of my life on death marches worth $1 million?
Nope.
And I would argue absolutely not even a question. Don't even need to think about that part of the equation. Like, no, of course not. Now, is 10 years of death marches worth $100 million?
Maybe.
Maybe, but it's not like the IRS is going like, we're going to give you, or the federal government's like, we're giving you $100 million to do these 10 years of death marches. Yeah. Still a total roll of the dice. Yeah. So then I would also argue no.
Yeah.
I don't have to sacrifice how I'm feeling right now. And this might be controversial, but I don't have to sacrifice how I'm feeling right now to have what I'm wanting in the future. That's a lot. That's fucking total bullshit. That's been like, suffer now, suffer. It's old Christian bullshit. Yeah. Suffer now. Don't worry. Your suffering will be rewarded in the afterlife. It like, you will die and go to heaven. I know, look, being a serf sucks, okay? But you do a good job. You don't fucking stir the pot and obey your liege. You'll go to heaven, man. You'll be fine. Just don't kill anybody. And where you're like, what are you talking about, man? Like, you're saying like you don't have to make sacrifices for things. No, me saving money isn't a sacrifice. What are you talking about? It's a wrong mindset.
Yeah.
So we're jumping to conclusions here. If someone's going to listen to this, be like, oh, so you just eat cake all day? No, that feels like shit. Oh, so you just like, you like just sit on your ass and watch Netflix? No, absolutely not.
Yeah. I
can do all the things people are talking about are sacrifices. Like, oh man, like saving half of your income, like exercising, not eating like a fucking garbage dumpster. No, those aren't sacrifices. I don't feel like I'm some disciplined like Navy SEAL person. The fun part is when I'm not waking up emotionally on fire, I don't have this desire to go out and be like, all right, I got to get a new shiny fucking thing. I need a new dongle for my dongles, for my dongle thing, and just money just being set on fire. Saving half of my income is effortless. It's effortless and it's fun. I'm not like, I've got to fucking scrounge my shit together. Like, how am I going to make this work saving half of my income? No, I just save it.
Yeah.
And it's easy. It's easy. Why? Because I've dealt with and am dealing with the shit that caused me to overspend in the first place. The root causes and conditions.
Yeah.
Which, much like you're going to go get a house to go get adulthood, right? I was doing similar things. I'm going to go buy this thing. It's going to make me feel better. I'm going to get this thing and then I'll be happy. I'll go get this thing and then I'll portray this like position of status.
Yeah.
But the part of the fire that I really appreciate is all of the necessities to live a contented life are actually pretty fucking inexpensive.
Yeah.
All the other shit, it's just been beat into us that we need to go buy. You need this new car that's shiny. Like, what's the difference between a 2020 Lexus and a 2008 Honda Civic? One goes 0 to 60 faster, that's for sure. How frequently am I doing drag races where that's important?
Yeah.
No, most of the time I get it in the car to go to a thing and come back. And you know who gives a shit about me driving that Lexus? One, people I don't want or care to have in my life, because the woman who's dating me because I'm driving a Lexus, no fucking way I want that woman in my life romantically.
Yeah.
Not a chance. And two, it's other people that are fucking bedazzled by those things.
Yeah.
Now, if that's your crew, by all means, man, that's cool. Not here to judge. That's not who I want in my life.
Yeah.
The lady I want is like, oh, 2005 Civic, but you're a software engineer. See, I know what you're doing. That's who I want in my life. And she's like, those are the decisions that I like right there. I'm like, yeah. Because I think Chris Rock had a great bit on it. It's something like, I have my friends driving around. They've got like this $100,000 Porsche. You know what I look at, like looking at? That $100,000 in my checking account. I love that. Because that $100,000 that gets spent on the Porsche, it's already been realized. It's on the Porsche. And you know what? In my experience, buying shiny things like that is the novelty wears off very quickly.
Yeah, there are a handful of things for me that have felt as good as I anticipated them feeling and have stuck with me because I fucking love them and I use them every day. But for me, that's not a shiny car. That's like my computer so that I can be a full-time nerd and weeb. Absolutely worth the money. My guitars, my amp, taking care of my dog, taking care of myself, like those are worth the money to me.
Absolutely. I'm not saying you can't buy nice things. Don't buy nice things, because every time you buy a nice thing, it's for these other reasons. Yeah. No. My 65-inch fucking television, which wasn't even that expensive.
Yeah.
I love that thing. That thing is fucking awesome.
Yep.
I love that thing.
Yeah.
Even my gaming PC is a budget gaming PC.
We still choose through almost anything, but
dude, I don't buy new hardware. It's a total fucking scam. Because first off, I buy the new hardware and then 2 months later, NVIDIA is like, oh, do you want this other thing that we just created, which is 8 times as good?
That's how I feel right now. I bought a 2070 Super last year.
Yep.
And then it's like, now the 3080 is, and the stats are fucking insane.
That's what it's going to be forever. So I just get year-old shit.
Yep.
Every time. And it's like 80% off what it was originally. And it crushes everything. Because it's not like I'm playing fucking Crysis on max res, which is impossible. You can't do it.
Yep.
The CERN fucking CERN can't run Crysis. It can't be done. But for anyone who's listening, that's a gamer joke, and you can look it up if you're so interested. If you don't understand it, that just means good for you.
No, dude, it was so awesome. Last night I had a bunch of people over, and like me and my atomic, or like my non-family friends, like my tribe that I have just found over time, is a bunch of fucking nerds and weebs, and I love them to death. And my cousin and his wife were here, who I also love to death.
Do you know any actual Japanese people, Jordan?
Yes, actually, I do. I do. I have Japanese friends, one of whom I pay to be my friend because she teaches me to speak Japanese.
It's not a friend if you pay for it, Jordan.
But yes, I do know actual Japanese people.
I'm just busting your balls.
Oh,
so you had people over.
Yeah, and we're like, get to be an hour and a half in, and the conversation just descends into full nerddom. And my cousin and his wife are both like, and we have a thing. I love you guys. I'm so glad you came, and I understand why you don't want to be around this. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, man. To each their own.
Yeah.
To each their own. I'm first one to admit my nerdiness, my nerdness, dude. Like, I love it, and I'm unapologetic to a point. And recognize if people aren't on my nerd level, it's totally fine. I get it. Totally get it. But yeah, so we can have nice things. Nice things are awesome. I live in a dope apartment.
Yeah.
I love my place. My place is huge and it's sick. And I got a great deal on it, but it's not cheap. But I like coming into a gigantic apartment and I'm like, nice. That's all the space I could ever want. And I can still save half of my income. Could I save more if I had a cheaper place? Yeah. But I'm in this place all day long, every day. I want to fucking go downstairs, look at my kitchen, and be like, look at that fucking kitchen. Love that fucking kitchen. No one comes over. No one sees this kitchen but me. And I love this place.
Yeah.
That's how I want to feel in the place that I'm spending, especially now.
Yeah.
99.9% of my minutes and seconds.
Yeah.
In this nice place. It always goes back to why. Why am I buying the thing?
Yeah.
Why am I buying the thing? And all the way back to sacrifice, I've got to suffer for my outcomes. No. If I'm finding the hill that I really want to be climbing, it's like, dude, is hiking suffering? No. People walk uphill for fun. When I was a little chubby fat kid, I was like, why do people go hiking? It is horrible. All you do is walk uphill for fun. What kind of idiot hikes for fun? Just gonna walk uphill? It's ridiculous. Why? Because that's what I thought. Like, that was the mental association I had with it. All you're doing is walking uphill. And for a chubby fucking little kid with short, fat, chubby legs, that sucked. Walking uphill sucked. And they had a joke. My family friends and I had a joke. It was like, because I would complain the whole hike and be like, I want to go downhill. Can we go downhill? And to this day, they make fun of me for that. I want to go down. But no, hiking is awesome.
Yeah.
I get to breathe this air. I get to be in nature. It kind of has its own whole vibe to it. And then I get to just look around at all this stuff I don't really see normally in my day-to-day, like urban life. And then there's just a certain connection that happens and peacefulness that's in nature. Yeah, I walk uphill, but it's fine. I'm not suffering. I might be sweating. I'm not fucking suffering. I might be breathing heavier. I'm not suffering. It's awesome. It's super fun. What shifted? The mindset of what I'm doing. So yes, I can save for retirement. I can prepare for the future, but I don't have to hate my life during that process. That's the connection I want to be making. It's like, we've got to make these, it's all about trade-offs. There's no free lunch, blah, 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 blah. You've got to make these, no, absolutely not. I can have it all emotionally right now. Right now. Did I make my point? Does that make sense?
It does indeed.
It's like, man. And look, I can't want it for other people enough to get them to understand that or experience that. But life doesn't have to be so hard, and it doesn't have to feel this way.
No. And it's funny, like the more effortless it gets, the more I find myself doing the things that are quote unquote hard. Because I enjoy them. The mindset has shifted.
Look, man, it's like life got so easy that I was like, it's now boring. I'm like, well, now what do I do now that life is so easy and that is boring? Well, I guess I'm going to go find suffering somewhere. But now I'm suffering on my own terms.
Yeah.
I think suffering is required for a fulfilling life. Well, it's inevitable. Like suffering's inevitable, but removing all of it. It's funny. Mr. Money Mustache has this presentation where he talks about kind of the goals of the typical family or the typical couple, and it's like, all right, got, you know, middle-class Joe. He works his job. He works really hard. He gets his raises. Then he gets a nice other bigger house. And then he gets a bigger, and then he shows like this McMansion. And then he gets, stop me if you've seen this.
I've seen this presentation.
Awesome. Great. Well, don't stop me because I'm going to go all the way to the end. And he's like, all right. And then he like trades in his car, and then he starts to lease like this other like nice cars. He has 3 nice cars, and he's like, nice. And then he gets some servants. And then instead of like, and then and his bed is so nice that he just stays in his bed because he's got this nice big TV and stays in his bed as his servants serve him food. And then he doesn't really want to get up, so he installs a catheter so he doesn't have to get up, and a bedpan. And so now he gets to just sit and lie and eat and watch TV. Like, obviously that sounds miserable, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. Like reducto ad absurdum, I believe. Is that what that's called? Yeah. But it resonates completely with me. Like, no one would want that life. Yeah. All inconveniences removed. Just Wally Blob sitting down, like absorbing rays from the television or VR goggles, right? It's like, no, I want to mix it up. Yeah. I got to get vigorous in life and fuck some things up. Move around. Go be out in the world, whatever, yada, yada, yada. And for everybody likes their own shit. Yeah. And I can have all those things. I can have and I can do all those things.
Yes, sir.
So how do I have and do all those things? Well, right now, like the TLDR of that is I can feel good right now. I can feel good right now. It's not dependent on me getting a girlfriend, me getting a job that I want, me fucking getting this other thing, having my parents like me going and getting more friends, me getting this prestige. Like, it's not reliant on any of those things. And it's entirely up to me. I can feel one little degree better right now. I find those things. I do those things. I do those things consistently. I do those tiny little things every single day. Not perfectly. I miss a day. It's fine. Get back to it literally that day, that next hour, or tomorrow. Yeah. Rinse and repeat over and over and over again. Stack it up. And then I wake up. I'm like, did I just string together 3 whole months of feeling pretty good? Holy shit. Time flies. That's it. That's it. So I stopped doing things for other people based on other ideas that came from other people that don't know me or don't give a shit about me. And start doing things that I really want to do and thinking thoughts that I really want to think. Speaking of feeling good, I've been falling asleep to ASMR recently. Oh my God.
Okay.
Dude. It's the fucking best. I put on my Bose fucking headphones.
Oh, while you're trying to sleep, you wear your headphones.
I like to sleep on my back.
Okay.
And the Bose headphones are like fantastic because if I tilt like this or like this, yeah. Last night I just fell asleep with them on. I wasn't even like, I just went into it and dude, shout out to GB ASMR. She's fucking fantastic. Holy shit. And it's just like, just whispering in the ear, just not talking about anything, just whispering fucking bullshit and whispering bullshit, scratching on stuff, dude, tingles and then sleep. Amazing. Amazing. I would bust people. I was like, oh, this is so dumb, blah, 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 judging that shit. But it's literally someone from like across the world uploading a video. It gets transformed into light, goes through fiber optic cables into bits that my computer understands, into images that I can see and in here, and then goes directly into my mind and then gives me the tingles. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm on board. Sign me up.
I was just talking to one of my guys about this, actually. We're doing his appreciations. He's like, I'm kind of having trouble coming up with stuff, man. I feel like every day I'm waking up and like, yeah, I'm grateful to be alive today. And like, yeah, that's awesome. That's a great thing to think about. You ever thought about the pencil you're holding right now? Have you ever thought about the like rack of guitars sitting behind you right now? The fact that you have a washer and dryer in your apartment. And what was so cool was to watch his appreciation shift from like these super big nebulous meta ideas into these like, oh my God, this thing that I use every day is fucking insane.
The mundane life is really is a miracle. Like we don't fucking like I do it all the time. I take for granted all the time, but it's just a lack of attention, and it's a lack of creativity. That's and that's going all the way back to what like wasting money on shit.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, these fucking nail clippers are like, you know how long it would take me to fucking make these by hand? These are like free, right? Like you have a friend that has an extra one of them, they'll just like give it to you. Like who cares? It's incredible. It's absolutely nuts what's available to us. It's funny, like there's a history of that in advertising. And when the US was coming into its industrial own and coming into its industrial might after the war, they're like, we can produce like all this shit super cheap and make it last forever. Like, how do we get people to keep buying stuff? If they buy everything they need, like we're going to go out of business. And then if they stop buying stuff, they're like, I think we've got an answer for it. So it's like cars were a big one. It was like, how do we get people to keep buying cars? Yeah. And it's like, well, we'll change the aesthetic of the newer one. It'll be functionally exactly the same. It'll have the same drivetrain, the same engine, or very minor improvements, but the outside will look fucking totally different. And then we'll advertise and be like, this is the new fancy one. Boom. Seems like, oh yeah, obviously that's what they do. That was a fucking like revolution in how to sell shit. And it happens now. The fucking, like, look, from the iPhone, the first iPhone, game changer.
Yep.
Second iPhone, basically the same thing. I would argue until like the 4 or the 5. And then it was basically the same thing up until the 10.
Yep. And now it's the same thing.
And now it's with tiny marginal enhancements. Yeah. It's the same. I can get the same apps. They perform exactly the same on the same screen. They're like, oh, this screen is like, it's like, it's fucking 0.003 inches thinner and lighter. So it's like, come on, dude, let's fucking go. Like, they're like, yes, and we gobble it up. Like, yes. I'm not exempt from this. I've gotten a new iPhone every year. I am not exempt from this. Here's me not judging people. This is the iPhone is one of those things that we're talking about. Yeah. I fucking love having the new one. I am susceptible. I'm not like immune to this thing. I love it. I will always have the next one. Yeah. The way I justify it in my brain is I sell this one for like 60 or 70% of the cost that I bought it the year before.
Yep.
I get the new one for like $200.
Yep.
So it's like, obviously I would do that. It's a no-brainer. I'm not a peasant. I'm not going to get the old one. And we laugh at that, but that's what it's. That's the symbol.
Of course.
It's like I am rich. That's what this thing is saying. I am rich. Notice it has the 3 holes. I don't give a fuck about the camera. I've taken 7 pictures with this thing, but I get the Pro. Why? Big dick energy right there. That's why. Exactly. I'm not poor. I'm not like, to get anything less than this would mean I'm poor.
It's so funny where the lines get drawn for that. 2005 Honda Civic, baby, all day long.
Exactly. And that's an entire, like, I will own that 100%. It's like, I loved driving around in my 2010 Subaru Outback. Or no, 2010. It was an 05. What am I talking about? It was a 2005 Subaru Outback. I fucking loved that thing.
Yeah.
I loved it. So I was like, every time I drove it, I'm like, I'm just saving so much money. And if I get caught in a gigantic snowstorm, I can plow through this shit. I love this thing. And I owned it and loved it. iPhones can't do it. Can't do it with technology. Can't do it. If I walk around with some SE, just be like, get out of here, scrub. Oh, you need a headphone jack? Yeah.
Bluetooth, fucker.
No, I have another $200 device that solves that problem. So anyway, the stuff that's required to live that a life I really want to live is really not that expensive.
Yeah.
All joking aside, it's like I can have what I want. I can have what I want right now. Because what I'm wanting is peace and contentment.
Yeah.
And that's entirely available to. I can't purchase that to a degree. At least for me, I've got to be clothed. I got to be housed. I've got to be able to like shower, bathe, those kinds of things. I've got to be able to eat. Those are taken care of. There's not much else.
There's really not.
There's not much else I can go buy that's going to bump up my feeling goodness factors consistently. My contentness factors just don't exist. So I can have what I want. And then once I've gotten what I want emotionally, my motivations entirely shift and my actions shift.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about, the effortlessness. It's like, it's way easy to do the actions that like appear like super disciplined. Don't require discipline isn't required. That's the fucking mind hack, which we've already talked about a bunch of times already, but that's the real hack, is like getting my mind to a state where it doesn't require discipline to do the things that my capital W really want to do. So, and with that, you're capped out on time, man.
Indeed we are. Indeed we are.
Anything else for me?
I don't think so, man. Honor and a privilege as always. I'm excited to keep bringing some weekly updates for you. I think there's lots coming my way in the
Yeah, there always are.
Always is. Yeah.
All right, brother. A pleasure.